Shiny viewers, I'm DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on channel NITT. This is part 2 of the 9 levels of the INTJ series. In our part 1, we talk about how the 9 different levels of INTJs may look like at each of these levels. However, we need to understand that these levels is not a continuum, which means to say, right, you don't have to go from level 8 to level 7. If you are at level 8, which is an unhealthy level, you can also just directly bounce back to level 4, which is equilibrium. Just as a brief recap, there are 9 different levels broken into 3 different stages. Levels 1 to 3, we have the heroic stage. This is where you are at your best. At levels 4 to 6, we call it the normal equilibrium level. This is where most of us usually are. Level 7 to 9 are the demonic levels. This is where you go into a probable state of self-destruction. So for the INTJs, most of us would be at levels 4 to 6. However, sometimes we may find ourselves going into the demonic levels. What would be the trigger for that? The trigger for any INTJ to get into the lower levels would be systemic frustration. What is systemic frustration? Put into simpler terms, it means when reality refuses to conform to our models. Remember, at level 7, the INTJ is the contrarian. This is where they are the Reddit debunker. So what happened that caused them to become like this? The INTJ at this level says, if they won't listen, then I'll force them to see the truth. So they will start to obsessively teach people or correct others in the internet. At the lower levels, INTJ starts to believe that nobody is listening to them, but they are definitely correct, or their morality is the only one that matters. As with the Crusader, which is a level 8 INTJ. When an INTJ already reaches level 9, which is the recluse level, they would have this sentiment. Humanity is totally hopeless. I will just vanish into my own mind. So as you can see, the common theme for an INTJ collapsing into level 7 to 9 would be that of frustration with humanity, frustration with the world, frustration with the existing systems, frustration. So how can the INTJ at these levels return to equilibrium? The answer is very simple. It is to re-engage with controlled systems. So a level 7 INTJ can break from the cycle by mentoring someone. Teach them your framework. If they reject it, refine it. Creation is a keyword in this case. Don't burn the system, build a better one. So level 9 INTJs will find it the hardest to actually come out of their shell again. But what you can do is try to share one insight, share one piece of knowledge at a time at your own pace. So the keywords for the INTJ at the levels 7 to 9 to come back to equilibrium would be reintegration. That is, you try to bridge the gap between the mind and the world. Of course, if you are already at equilibrium and you want to move up to the heroic levels, what can you do? So I have 3 different pieces of advice over here. The first one is, as you already know, INTJs, they are chess masters. So wait for a precision timing, delay execution until your plan is flawless. This is typical INTJ stuff. The second possibility is for you to inject controlled FI. So what this means is, instead of asking what needs to be done, you ask yourself, what do I want to be done? What do I want to see as a change for the world? So in other words, solve a niche problem that you really care about. The next possibility is to engage your inferior function. So for the ENTJ, just as an analogy, our inferior function is FI. So we usually don't use it, but once we use it in the correct manner, it becomes very powerful. I can become so inspirational that I feel like I'm doing something for the world, for humanity, and I will feel very proud of myself if I engage FI correctly. So for INTJs, your inferior function is the SE. The SE in this case is grounding for you. So look at your body as a piece of hardware. Your mind is there, but then your body is also important. Your body helps to ground you. So what you can do is go for some tea tasting, some 10-minute walks a day. This can help also to ease your NI overload. For INTJs already at levels 1 and 3, how do you maintain there, or how do you continue being in the heroic stage? So think beyond self, think of legacy systems. Plant trees under whose shade you would never sit. So actions to take would be open source knowledge, mental prodigies, then design self-sustaining systems. So in our previous episode, we talked about one interesting difference between the INTJ and the ENTJ. So in this episode, we're going to do it one more time. The INTJ is like a chess master. They plan 10 steps ahead on a game of chess. But what does the ENTJ do? The ENTJ just flips the chessboard. Okay, Channel NITT viewers, you matter a lot to us because one viewer actually came in and asked us to produce an INFP series for our next MBTI. We're going to do that. But of course, if you have your MBTI not being discussed in this 9-level series and would like to be also jumping the queue, then do drop us a comment. If you have not already subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI and fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye.